Success isn't built in bursts, it's built in habits. Anyone can push hard for a week or even a month. But it's what happens, quietly, predictably, almost invisibly, each day that makes the difference between mediocrity and mastery. You don't build a great life by doing something once in a while, you build it by what you do every single day. Now here's the question. What are you doing every day? Because that's what's shaping your future, not the big moments, not the grand opportunities, but the small disciplines, the ones that seem too small to matter until they do. Every successful person I've met has a pattern. They live by design, not by default. Their days don't happen to them. They build them one block at a time, and those blocks are called habits. Discipline is the foundation. Everything else is built on top of ITC. It's not the amount of effort that counts, that's the consistency of IT. If someone goes to the gym for 6 hours once a month, that's pain without progress, but 15 minutes a day, every day for a year. Now that changes everything. Small effort repeated often outperforms big effort done rarely. That's the law of discipline. Discipline is doing what's necessary whether you feel like it or not. Feelings are a poor master. Discipline is a loyal servant. You can't wait for motivation to strike. It's too unpredictable. You build habits so you don't have to negotiate with yourself every morning. Once a discipline becomes habit, IT no longer drains your willpower. IT runs on autopilot, quietly building your future. The problem for most people isn't that they're lazy. It's that they're inconsistent. They do the right things, but only sometimes, and sometimes doesn't compound. Imagine putting $1 in a savings account. Only when you feel like it, the balance never grows. Success works the same way. You have to keep making deposits daily. Think about the farmer. He doesn't plant a seed today and harvest tomorrow. He plants, he waters, he weeds. He works the land day after day, long before he sees results. Why? Because he trusts the process. The soil will do its part if he does. His discipline is your soil. If you keep planting the right seeds, you will eventually reap the harvest. The danger is that small neglects also compound. Skip one workout, miss one call, delay one plan, and it seems harmless. But a few small misses start a pattern of drift. Success is built by disciplines. Failure is built by neglect. They both grow quietly. The question is, which are you feeding every day? Is a vote for the kind of future you want. Every small choice says something about who you're becoming. That's why I call daily discipline the hinge of destiny. It's the small repeated hinge that swings the big door of life. Now people ask, how do you build that kind of discipline? You start with one daily act that proves to yourself you can. Maybe it's reading 10 minutes, maybe it's journaling your lessons, maybe it's reviewing your goals. Once you start keeping promises to yourself, you begin to trust yourself, and self-trust is the real foundation of confidence. When you look at someone living a great life financially, emotionally, physically, it's easy to think they got lucky or that something big happened, but that's not how IT works. Big results are just little disciplines multiplied by time, the same way interest compounds in a bank account. Habits compound in a human life. The difference between a fortune and a frustration is what you do daily. So the challenge is simple. Build your day with intention. Don't let chance decide who you become. Set up routines that serve your future. Protect your morning's review. Your goals, your mind, move your body, give thanks, reflect at night. When you stack enough of these habits together, you become unstoppable. Not overnight, but over time. Discipline is the bridge between desire and accomplishment. Every day you cross it, you strengthen it. Miss a day and IT weakens, but walk it daily and soon it carries the full weight of your dream. That's where success begins, not with motivation, but with motion, not with luck, but with habit. The daily dozen will give you the structure, but first, you must understand this truth. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your life. It's what you do every day. Every habit compounds, nothing stands. Still, what you do today is either increasing your value or eroding it. Its decision adds or subtracts. That's the quiet mathematics of life. You don't escape the law of cause and effect. You live under IT. Everyday success and failure are not events. They're processes. If a person gains 20 pounds, IT didn't happen from one meal. It came from small choices repeated daily. And the same is true for wealth, wisdom, or happiness. The compounding principle rewards diligence and punishes drift. Do the right thing often enough and time becomes your ally. Do the wrong thing often enough and time becomes your enemy. Compounding is simple but relentless. A single penny doubled every day for 31 days grows to more than $10 million. Most people hear that and smile. But they forget it's the same in every area of life. A single discipline doubled daily compounds into success. A single neglect doubled daily compounds into regret. Look around and you'll see both at work. The healthy person didn't get that way from a burst of effort they earned at meal by meal workout. By workout, the reader didn't gain insight overnight. IT came from pages turned day after day, and the one drowning in debt didn't arrive there from a single purchase. IT came from a pattern of decisions, each too small to notice at the time. Everything compounds now. Here's the catch: compounding doesn't ask for intensity, it asks for consistency. That's why most people miss it. They're willing to go all in for a week, but not to stay steady for a year. After a month, still subtle, but after 5 years, one is living in growth and the other in decline. The daily difference compounds into a gulf. That's the power and danger of momentum. Once a direction is set, it builds speed. Positive habits make it easier to stay positive. Negative ones make it easier to stay negative. The key is to interrupt drift early. It's hard to turn a ship that's already gained speed. It's already gained speed because the results are delayed. If a person skips a workout today, nothing happens. Skip tomorrow, still nothing. So IT feels harmless, but neglect works quietly. It builds corrosion by the time the damage shows. The habit is deep. Discipline works the same way, but in reverse. Its results are also delayed. Read a few pages today, and nothing looks different. Read daily for a year, and your mind will never be the same. That's why only the wise stay faithful to invisible results. The compounding effect is neutral. IT doesn't care who uses it. Time will multiply whatever you feed it. Discipline or neglect, feed it consistency, and IT will multiply your growth. Feed it carelessness, and IT will multiply your problems. Time is the partner of the diligent and the prosecutor of the lazy. So ask yourself what you're compounding right now. What habits are you adding to the account every day? Because time will cash the checks you write. The seeds you plant today will show up later. Some as fruit, some as thorns, and both grow from the same soil. The wise understand this law and use it on purpose. They invest daily effort knowing the harvest will come later. The unwise wait for a big break, never realizing small daily effort is the break. You don't need to revolutionize your life in one grand move. You just need to compound the right actions long enough. Every day matters. Every choice matters. Compounding principle guarantees that what you do consistently will eventually show publicly or privately. For better or worse, that's why the daily doesn't matter so much. It turns time into an ally instead of an enemy. Neglect nothing. Practice the small disciplines daily. Because when you understand how compounding works, you stop chasing luck and start creating momentum. Never start a day until it's finished, as life's finished. On paper, that simple principle can change a life. Most people begin their mornings reacting, checking messages, rushing through tasks, answering whatever shows up. But success doesn't live in reaction. IT lives in preparation. Order brings clarity, and clarity saves time. A planned day is a day already half won. When the day is planned the night before, the mind sleeps peacefully and wakes up on purpose. There's no debate, no confusion, no wasted motion. You simply follow the plan you already designed when your mind was calm and clear. Think of IT like building a house. You don't show up with a pile of materials and start hammering. You start with a blueprint. The day works the same way. Without a plan, you waste effort. With one, you multiply results. A few minutes of planning each night replaces hours of wandering each day. Here's the test. Can you describe tomorrow before it starts? If you can, you own the day. If you can't, the day owns you. Most people drift from one demand to another because they never took a moment to define their priorities. They let the urgent crowd out the important. But when you write the plan, you decide what matters. Planning forces you to think, and thinking is where value begins. Writing your day on paper or in a journal makes it visible, measurable, and actionable. IT builds discipline. You're no longer a passenger in your day. You're the driver now. Planning doesn't mean rigidity. Life will bring interruptions, surprises, and adjustments, but a plan gives direction. Even the wind changes. A ship can't control the weather, but it can adjust the sails. The plan is your sail. Without it, even a strong wind becomes chaos each night. Before the day ends, take 10 minutes to ask 3 questions. What must be done? What can wait? What matters most? Then put the answers in order. That list becomes your next day's map. You'll wake up knowing exactly where to begin. Most people spend their days doing low-value work because they never defined high-value work. Planning filters the noise. IT forces you to identify the few things that move you forward. When you plan your day, you trade business for progress. And there's a second benefit. A written plan frees your mind. Once the plan is on paper, your brain stops carrying a key and rest. That's why the best sleep often follows a clear plan. The mind relaxes knowing tomorrow's already handled. You can plan with a notebook, a card, simple page. It doesn't matter. What matters is the habit. Do it every day until it becomes automatic. Some people think they don't have time to plan, but that's like saying you don't have time to save money. The time invested returns itself many times over. When you plan, you create a sense of anticipation. You start to live proactively instead of reactively. You begin the day not wondering what to do, but doing what you've already decided matters most. That's how you gain momentum early and maintain it all day. Success is found in structure, not stress, and structure starts the night before. So before you close your eyes, finish your day on paper, write your intentions, your appointments, your priorities, then let the plan work for you. While you rest the next morning, you'll step into motion with confidence, not confusion. The day won't surprise you. You'll meet it ready. That's the power of order. A plan day prevents wasted motion, protects your purpose, and multiplies your time. Never start a day until it's finished on paper. It's one of the simplest disciplines, but like all great principles, IT carries the weight of transformation. Your mind needs daily nourishment, just as your body does. Miss a meal, and you'll feel it in your strength. Miss a day of feeding your mind, and you'll feel it in your attitude. Reading something valuable each day keeps the mind alert, the ideas fresh, and the perspective sharp. The difference between the successful and the struggling often begins in what they read. Most people fill their minds with entertainment, not education. They spend hours consuming what adds nothing to their growth. But those who rise high in life make a habit of reading for insight, not for escape. A few pages of wisdom every day compound into a new philosophy over time. It doesn't take much. 15 minutes of good reading daily can reshape a life. Because reading exposes you to new thoughts and create new actions. What enters the mind eventually enters behavior. Think of reading as conversation with great minds. When you open a book, you sit down with someone who spent years distilling their experiences into words you can absorb in an hour. That's leverage. You can't live long enough to make every mistake yourself, but through reading, you can borrow lessons from those who've already walked the path. Now, not all reading is equal. Some material entertains, but doesn't educate. It passes time, but doesn't add value. Reading for wisdom means selecting carefully books that stretch your research, thinking deep in your understanding, or strengthen your character. IT could be philosophy, history, biography, or spiritual truth. The key is to feed the mind what helps it grow every day. Choose something that builds you. Keep a shelf or a stack of books that feed your purpose. Keep one by your bed, another in your briefcase, one in the living room. Never be far from good ideas. When you sit down to read, underline thoughts that strike you. Write notes in the margins. Turn reading into dialogue. Passive reading fades fast. Active reading compounds understanding. I learned long ago that the mind becomes like what it consumes. If you read gossip, you think gossip. If you read wisdom, you think wisdom. The mind mirrors its input. That's why it's critical to guard what you let in. Reading valuable material daily keeps your thinking aligned with your goals. Some people say they don't have time to read, but time is radius. Never the issue. Priority is 15 minutes before bed, 10 in the morning, 5 during lunch. The moments exist, and those moments repeated become mental wealth. You can start with a single page. The habit is the victory. Reading builds vocabulary, confidence, and communication. The more word you understand, the more precisely you can think, and the more clearly you think, the more powerfully you act. Reading sharpens the mind the way exercise sharpens the body. He keeps you fit for ideas. Make your reading list intentional. Include the classics that shaped thought for centuries. Include biographies that reveal the price of greatness. Include ideas that challenge your assumptions. Every new idea is a tool. The more tools you gather, the more problems you can solve. And here's something remarkable. Reading not only gives you answers, it gives you better questions. It expands your capacity to see. The person who reads daily walks through the world, more aware, more observant, more discerning. Reading makes the invisible visible. So decide today to build the habit. Even a few pages a day, read with focus, can change your entire philosophy over time. Let reading become as routine as breakfast. Feed your mind before you feed your body, because when the mind is nerve, everything else follows. If you read valuable material daily, you'll never run out of ideas. You'll never run dry in motivation. You'll always have something to give because you've been filling your reservoir. That's the habit of daily reading, quiet, steady. Transformative IT doesn't shout, but over time, IT changes the entire direction of a life. Writing refines thinking. That's why journaling is one of the most valuable habits a person can develop. The act of putting words on paper forces clarity. Thoughts that seem clear in the mind become sharper when they're written, and when you capture lessons, ideas, and progress, you begin to see your own growth over time. Most people live their days and forget them. They experience, but they don't extract. A journal becomes the laboratory of your life. It's where experience turns into wisdom. Every day brings lessons, but without reflection, they disappear. Writing them down preserves them. It's like collecting gold dust. Before IT blows away, keep a daily record. What you learned, what worked, what didn't, what you're grateful for. The entries don't have to be long or poetic. You just need to be honest. A few sentences that summarize the day are enough. Over time, those pages will reveal patterns, progress, mistakes, tendencies, strengths, and that awareness is priceless. When you write, you slow down your thinking. You move from reaction to reflection. You start asking better questions. What did I learn today? What did I avoid? Where did I improve? Where did I drift? Those questions turn an ordinary day into a meaningful one. Journal serves as a mirror. IT shows you yourself. You can go back and read what you believed 6 months ago, what worried you, what goals you set. Sometimes you'll smile, sometimes you'll shake your head, but always you'll learn. Growth is most visible when compared to where you've been. And there's something powerful about seeing your own handwriting. IT reminds you that your life is being written one day at a time. Each page is proof of attention, of discipline, of care. The journal becomes a conversation between your present and your future self. Don't wait for something profound to happen before you write. The discipline itself creates the insight. Sit down with pen and paper. Even when you think there's nothing to say, within minutes, thoughts appear. Writing draws them out. Some of the best ideas come from the simple act of starting. Keep your journals organized and dated. Label them by year. Over time, they become a personal library of lessons. When challenges arise, you can look back and see how you overcame others. When success comes, you can trace the path that led there. It's a record of proof that you're capable of change. And here's a secret: writing multiplies gratitude. When you record your blessings, you notice more of them. When you record your wins, you build confidence. When you record your struggles, you find perspective. A written life is a richer life. Some people think they'll remember everything. They won't. Memory fades. Paper remembers. A thought unrecorded is a thought lost, but a journal keeps your lessons alive long after the moment passes. So make it a ritual. 5 minutes at the end of the day, open the book, grab the pen, and capture the essence of what the day gave you. It doesn't matter if you write 2 lines or 2 pages. The habit is what compounds. Years from now, you'll look back and thank yourself for writing. You'll hold in your hands the record of your becoming. You'll see how far you've come and how consistent effort built a new version of you. Journaling compounds understanding. It refines thought, reinforces learning, and reveals progress. It's one of the simplest tools for growth and one of the most powerful. Write your life as you live it, because the more you write, the more you see, and the more you see, the more you grow. Your body is the engine that drives your life. It fuels your mind, carries your ambitions, and supports your discipline. You can't build a strong life on a weak foundation, and the foundation is physical vitality. Energy supports every other habit. Without it, even good intentions fade. Exercise is not about vanity, it's about vitality. A strong body keeps the spirit sharp. The way you treat your body affects the way you think, feel, and act. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. When energy is low, decision-making weakens, discipline slips, and emotions run high. But when energy is strong, the mind clears and action flows easily. The goal isn't to become a professional athlete. The goal is to build enough strength, stamina, and flexibility to support your best self. Move daily, walk, stretch, lift, breathe. Do something that reminds your body it's alive. The act of movement itself builds confidence. You're sending a signal. This body is under good management. It doesn't take hours. 15 to 30 minutes of consistent movement can transform the way you feel. The key is regularity. Just as small disciplines compound in business or study, they compound in health. Miss one day and it's easy to miss two. Keep the chain unbroken and soon the habit runs on its own momentum. Nutrition matters too. What you eat is fuel. Junk in, junk out. Feed your body like it matters, because it does. Your energy is the foundation of your productivity, creativity, and attitude. Protect it. High performance starts in the body long before it shows up in results. Rest is part of discipline. Recovery isn't laziness, it's preparation. A tired mind can't think clearly. A tired body can't perform effectively. Rest, hydration, and movement form the trio of energy management. Treat your health as an investment, not an afterthought. When you neglect the body, the cost doesn't show up right away, but it compounds. Small neglects become chronic fatigue, poor focus, or illness. When you build strength daily, that too compounds into longevity, resilience, and clarity. The body rewards stewardship the way money rewards saving. And there's another dimension: self-respect. Keeping yourself physically strong says to your mind, I'm worth the effort. That message spreads into every area of life. The disciplined body supports the disciplined mind. You can't separate them. Physical order and mental order go hand in hand. Exercise teaches lessons that transfer: patience, persistence, delayed gratification. You don't get strong in a day. You get strong by showing up. The same pattern that builds muscle builds success. Daily consistency, repetition, incremental progress. Workout becomes a metaphor for life. Take a walk in the morning. Clears the mind. Lift some weights. It builds confidence. Stretch it teaches balance. Breathe deeply. Reminds you to slow down. Every form of movement can become a ritual of renewal. What matters is that you move, and as energy builds, so does enthusiasm. A tired body can't sustain passion. But when you're fit, ideas come faster, moods stabilize, and effort feels lighter. You can handle more without strain. That's the hidden benefit. Discipline in the body multiplies capacity in the mind. So make daily exercise part of your philosophy, not just your routine. See it as maintenance for your future. The body you build today is the foundation you stand on tomorrow. Keep it strong, keep it flexible, keep it ready. Move daily. Move daily, not for appearance, but for endurance, because when the body has power and when both are working together, life becomes an upward spiral. Gratitude and reflection are the twin anchors of a calm, productive life. One keeps the heart right. The other keeps the head clear. Gratitude reminds you of what's working. Reflection reminds you of what needs improving. Together, they keep you balanced. Grateful for your progress, aware of potential. Gratitude changes how you see the moment you stop to give thanks. Perspective shifts. Instead of dwelling on what's missing, you notice what's present. You start to realize how much is already working in your favor. The mind can't hold gratitude and complaint at the same time. One always replaces the other. Choose gratitude and the whole emotional climate improves each day. Take time to count your blessings, not just the obvious ones: your home, your family, your work, but the small ones too. The smile from a stranger, the quiet moment of peace, the lesson from a mistake. Gratitude turns ordinary days into rich ones. It doesn't change what you have, it changes how you see what you have. Some people wait to be grateful until everything is perfect. They wait for the big win before they say thank you, but gratitude is what brings the wind closer. It's the attitude that opens doors. Grateful mind attracts more to be grateful for, because it's always looking for the good. Reflection is gratitude's companion. Gratitude looks outward. Reflection looks inward. It's the practice of reviewing your day, your thoughts, your actions. What worked, what didn't, what patterns are forming.
Reflection turns experience.
People rush from one day to the next, never pausing to ask what the last one taught them. That's like running a business without ever checking the books. You can't improve what you don't examine. A few minutes of reflection each day can save months of repeating the same errors. Reflection can be quiet and simple. Sit alone for a few minutes, think through the day. Ask, what did I learn? What did I give? What could I have done better? Those questions sharpen awareness over time. You'll find that mistakes shrink and insights grow. Gratitude softens the heart. Reflection strengthens the mind. One keeps you humble, the other keeps you wise. And when practiced together, they create a peaceful kind of power. You move through life calm, centered, and focused. Try this habit in the morning and evening. Begin the day with gratitude. Thankful for a new chance, end it with reflection. Grateful for what you learned. That simple rhythm builds emotional balance. It protects you from bitterness and regret. Some people think gratitude is a feeling. It's actually a discipline. You choose to focus on the good even when the day was difficult. You look for the lesson even when things didn't go your way. That decision builds emotional strength. Gratitude practice daily becomes a shield against negativity. Reflection too is a discipline. It requires honesty. You can't grow if you refuse to see what needs changing, but honesty combined with gratitude keeps reflection constructive, not critical. You learn without tearing yourself down. Together, these two habits compound. Daily gratitude compounds into joy. Daily reflection compounds into wisdom. Miss them and frustration compounds instead. You start repeating lessons you should have learned. So pause each day, morning, night, or both. Say thank you, then ask questions. Capture lessons in your journal. The moments you spend reflecting and appreciating are never wasted. They are investments in peace of mind. Gratitude and reflection may seem quiet compared to action and ambition, but without them, effort loses direction and meaning. With them, every day becomes both teacher and saint. Gift goals fade without review. Desire alone doesn't keep them alive. Repetition does. That's why every morning should begin with a quick meeting between you and your future. Reviewing your goals daily keeps them vivid in the mind. And what stays vivid guides behavior. Repetition turns desire into direction. A goal is a magnet, but like any magnet, its pull weakens if left unattended. Each morning you recharge it. You remind yourself what matters, why it matters, and what actions move you toward it. The more clearly you see your goals, the less likely you are to waste time on distractions. Most people then should write goals once a year, maybe in January, and then forget them by February. That's not goal setting, that's wishful thinking. A real goal is reviewed, adjusted, and kept in sight. A goal forgotten is a dream abandoned. The daily review keeps it alive and growing. You don't need to read every detail. Morning just enough to reignite the purpose. Glance through your short-term and long-term goals. Read them out loud if you can. The sound of your own voice declaring your direction reinforces words spoken. Have power. They plant the idea deeper. This habit shapes focus. When you start the day with goal in mind, the brain automatically filters information in alignment with them. You start noticing opportunities, connections, and patterns that were invisible before. That's not luck. It's clarity at work. The mind moves toward what it consistently pictures. The key is specificity. Vague goals don't inspire. Don't just write earn more money. Write how much, buy when, and how. Don't write get healthy. Write the habits that define health for you. The clearer the picture, the stronger the pull. Reviewing specific goals builds precision in thought, and precision produces results. Goals reviewed daily act as a compass during distraction. When new tasks appear, and they always do, you can ask, does this move me toward my goals? That question filters noise. It keeps the urgent from stealing time from the important. Without review, it's easy to lose direction in the business of the day. The act of review itself builds discipline. Each morning, you remind yourself who you're becoming. You choose to start the day on purpose, not by accident. You train your thoughts toward intention. It's not just the goals that matter, it's the daily alignment with them that shapes identity. Now, here's something powerful. The more you review your goals, the more your subconscious works on them. Even when you're not thinking about them, ideas start appearing unexpectedly. Connections form, energy rises. Your mind begins to work for you because it knows where you're headed. Keep your goals invisible. Maybe in a journal, a notebook, or a small card you carry. Don't leave locked away in a drawer. Keep them alive in your daily awareness. The world will always try to pull your attention elsewhere. Your review pulls out back to where it belongs. When goals fade, enthusiasm fades with them. When they stay clear, motivation renews itself. Even on difficult days, that small reminder of purpose can spark action. You don't have to feel inspired every morning, but you do have to stay reminded so each day before the rush begins. Take a few quiet minutes. Read your goals. See them, feel them. Let them speak to you, then go out and act in harmony with them. That's how dreams move. From imagination to reality, one reviewed day at a time. Reviewing your goals every morning doesn't take long. But over time, it compounds into focus, consistent, and seeing results. It's not a ritual of ambition. It's a ritual of alignment. And when your actions stay aligned with your vision, success becomes a matter of time. What you feed your mind determines what your mind produces. Input shapes output. The thoughts you allow in and become the words you speak, the attitudes you hold, and the choices you make control your input. And you control the direction of your life every day. You are surrounded. Noise, news, chatter, gossip, advertising, endless streams of distraction. If you're not intentional, the world will fill your head with junk. And here's the truth. Your mind can't thrive on junk any more than your body can. It digests whatever you feed it. Choose carefully. You must become the gatekeeper of your own attention. Guard what you read, what you watch, and who you listen to. The mind absorbs environment. Spend enough time with complaining people, and soon you'll complain. Spend time with problem solvers, and you'll think solutions. Input compounds silently. You won't notice its effect in a day, but you'll feel it in a month and see it in a year. Most people underestimate the power of influence. They say, I can handle IT, but influence doesn't ask permission. IT seeps in quietly. That's why you must protect your mental environment. The way a gardener protects soil, keep out the weeds of negativity and shallow thinking. Plant ideas that bear fruit. The media, entertainment, even casual conversation. Each one is input, and every piece of input tilts your thinking one direction or another. You don't need to isolate yourself from the world, but you do need to filter it. Ask with every bit of content, does this strengthen me or weaken me? Does IT build my understanding or waste my focus? When you begin to filter your input, everything changes. Your attention sharpens, your peace increases, your thoughts grow cleaner. By clearing clutter from a workspace, suddenly there's room to think. Discipline in what you allow and creates freedom in what you can produce. Replace low-value input with high-value material. Listen to ideas that challenge you, stories that inspire you, knowledge that equips you. Choose conversations that lift your standards. Don't let trivial noise occupy the space meant for growth. And remember, people are part of your input. The company you keep is one of the strongest forces shaping who you become. Choose associations that match your aspirations. Stay around those who push you higher, not those who pull you sideways. Association is education by exposure. You can't stay positive in a negative environment. You can't stay ambitious surrounded by apathy. You don't have to cut everyone out, but you do have to guard your mental real estate. Limit time with people who drain energy and expand time with those who spark it. The energy you protect today becomes the clarity you enjoy tomorrow. Your mind is your greatest asset. Don't let random stuff, idle talk, or empty entertainment occupy it. Be as deliberate about what enters your mind as you are about what enters your body. If you wouldn't eat junk all day, don't think it all day. When you start controlling your input, your output improves automatically. You speak better, decide better, and feel better. You stop reacting to everything and start creating from within. That's when life begins to move by design instead of by distraction. Every book, every voice, every song is either an investment or a withdrawal. Choose investments. Fill your days with ideas that pull you forward, not images that dull your vision. Because over time, input becomes identity. Guard your gates. What you allow and will determine what can come out. A disciplined mind begins with disciplined input. Success follows contribution. The more value you give, the more value life returns. It's one of the oldest and most reliable principles there is. You can't take more out of life than you put in every day. The goal should be to give something, an idea, a kindness, a solution, a spark of encouragement. Give value daily and over time. IT multiplies far beyond what you gave. The world rewards usefulness, not effort alone. Usefulness, the person who solves problems, who helps others succeed, who leaves every situation a little better than they found it. Those are the ones who rise. Giving value isn't charity. builds relationships, trust, and reputation, and those three create opportunity. You don't need grand gestures. Small, consistent acts of contribution compound the same way. Small habits do teach someone what you know. Encourage a colleague, offer your best work, even when no one's watching. When giving becomes a daily practice, IT turns into character, and character always earns its reward. Here's the secret. The habit of giving value doesn't deplete you, IT expands you. When you give what you have, you make room for more ideas flow more freely. Confidence grows, you become a source instead of a seeker. It changes how people see you and how you see yourself. You've heard the saying, service to many leads to greatness. That's not philosophy, it's arithmetic. Help one person and you create one ripple, help hundreds, and the ripple becomes a wave. Every product, every business, every legacy is built on solving problems for others. When you give daily, you're practicing the same principle on a personal level. Think of giving as planting. Each act is a seed. Some grow immediately up. Take time, but all add up to a harvest. Some of your seeds will come back from directions you never expected. An introduction, a recommendation, an opportunity. That's the compound effect of generosity. Giving value keeps your mindset healthy. It shifts attention from self to service. When you focus too long on what you lack, the world feels small. But when you focus on what you can give, the world expands. You stop waiting for better circumstances and start creating them through contribution in every interaction. Ask, how can I add value here? IT might be a solution. A smile, a moment of genuine attention. Most people rush through life trying to be interested. Focus on being interested, yet those who do build stronger connections, and those connections become bridges to future success. Giving value daily doesn't mean being a people pleaser. It means doing your best work, offering genuine help, and respecting others' time and needs. It's adding substance. Wherever you go, the motive isn't manipulation, it's improvement. You can't fake true contribution. People feel authenticity. There's another benefit. Giving value builds influence. Influence isn't granted by title, it's earned by usefulness. The more problems you solve, the more weight your words carry. When people know you make things better, they listen when you speak. That's how leadership begins, not with position, but with service. So make it a rule every day. Leave someone or something better than you found it. Send a note of appreciation, share an idea, freely offer encouragement when it's least expected. Give your best effort even on the small things. Each act adds to your invisible account of goodwill, and that account pays dividends for years over time. The habit of giving value transforms not just results, but reputation. People remember those who help them. Opportunities find those who lift others. And fulfillment comes naturally to those who serve. Give value every day. It's the surest way to attract value in return.